Welcome to the SEC Unfiltered platform. I'm your host, Dave Shumate from Mach 10 Sports here. Again, another segment going in order of SEC seeds, highest ceiling, floor for all 8 SEC teams. Up next, the Florida Gators, who are the 7 seed in the South region. Let me share the screen, get the bracket on for you right there. Florida coming in 7 seed right here. They'll play in a 10 seed play-in game here against either Colorado out of the Pac-12, who won the Pac-12 conference tournament, and Boise State, who I think was underseeded. Why is Boise State playing in a play-in game when they have arguably better metrics than Dayton, who's a 7 seed and is not playing? Nothing against Dayton and Anthony Grant and them, but Boise State should not be playing in this play-in game, but it is what it is now. Chips are all on the table. They got to go win in advance. I like Boise State. This one's, I think Boise State's going to go play Florida in the first round of the tournament. Back to the South region here. You see Florida here as the 7 seed. I actually like Florida in that matchup. Again, they lost Michael Handelgott, and again, prayers to him from the injury standpoint, the horrific injury he had Sunday in the SEC championship, to SEC tournament championship game against Auburn he had. But Florida is deep in the front court to me. They still got Tyrese Samuel. They still got Alex Condon. I think they can throw enough bodies out there to survive in the front court. Really not worried about that. Again, you got to like the guard play. The thing that concerns me a little bit with Florida is, and I've said this the whole time, every time I've talked about the SEC, is there's always a team every year in the tournament that runs out of energy, and they got a deep bench, but they played a lot of late games starting on Thursday, the 8:30 match. I don't think it got over to midnight against Georgia. They played Alabama the next night on Friday, late game. Played an early game Saturday and played it. That's 4 straight. There's usually a team that comes in a bit winded, a bit tired, maybe a little bit down. What is that chip on Florida's shoulder going to be like for Todd Golden and his team rolling into the first round after losing the SEC tournament championship game against his mentor Bruce Pearl in the Auburn Tigers? Ceiling for me, if I'm Florida, positive news here if you're a Gator fan. I mean, I see a potential Elite 8, if I'm being honest. I don't know if Florida can go play well enough, if I'm being honest, to go win 4 straight games to get to the Final Four. Just inconsistencies within the game away from the O'Connell Center, the O-Dome, whatever they call it now. There's always the O-Dome to me when Billy Donovan and the boys were there growing up. So away from home, Florida's just inconsistencies at times, either offensively or defensively. I just don't know if they can go win 4 to go to the Final Four. But I could certainly see them in Dallas winning a game in the South region. I mean, Marquette, depending on Tyler Kolek, how's he handling the oblique injury? He's been out for the better part of the end of the regular season through the Big East tournament. I think it's a game Florida could win. I mean, Florida's a bad matchup for a lot of teams. I know Handelgotten's out, but they're a pretty complete team from top to bottom. I thought they just lose some focus if they're not turning the ball over. Tough matchup for anybody. Could definitely see Florida beat Marquette. Then I'm seeing either Kentucky, Texas Tech, or NC State here. I'm going to go with Kentucky. They've already beaten Kentucky at Rupp and probably should have beat them in the first conference game of the year in the SEC in Gainesville. So they've played Kentucky well from top to bottom. Beat them at Rupp and should have beat them in Gainesville. If you're Florida, if you're Todd Golden, you don't hate that matchup. You would love to be seeing Kentucky in the Sweet 16. Not saying you're going to win, but I mean, you've already beat them this year, so it's a matchup you would like to have with a chance to go to the Elite 8. I just think at that point, if you're either playing Houston, potentially Duke, I just think Florida's going to get worn out here. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think tired legs going to catch up to them. Floor, I mean, Boise State's not a bad basketball team. I mean, if Florida comes out looking tired again, I told you there's a team every year kind of makes a deep conference tournament run and then just kind of flutters early in the NCAA tournament. Now, is that first or second game for Florida? I don't know. But Florida, I mean, we'd be lying if we didn't say Boise State couldn't beat Florida on a given day if Florida's turning the ball over, not shooting well. If Riley Kugel isn't shooting well, Zion Pullen isn't shooting well, guys like Walter Clayton's not playing well, it wouldn't be shocking. Would not be shocking. We always see someone out of a play-in game get hot because they've already got that first game out of the way. They got those nervous jitters out of the way. They've already played a basketball game. They're just moving on to the next round after they win that first one. So I think the ceiling for the Florida Gators here is the Elite 8. You got to like the matchup. You like them against Boise State. They could certainly lose. Marquette, Tyler Kolek potentially being out. They get Kentucky in the Sweet 16, a team they already beat. I just don't see them winning 4 straight games to get to Phoenix. Floor, again, are they tired? What are those legs looking like? Is the front court depth a little more thin than even I think? Are the guards turning it over? But overall, I think Florida's a tough matchup for anyone when they're not turning it over. Even with the Handelgott injury, I still like this Florida team. I think they got a pretty good draw. So there's your ceiling, and there is your floor for the Florida Gators heading into the 2024 men's college basketball NCAA tournament. Again, if you like coming at you from the SEC Unfiltered platform, all things SEC, 24/7, 365. College baseball starting up right here. We're heading into the second weekend. College, obviously, March Madness, it just controls the week, takes over the week. One of the best weeks of the year. College football spring games. Most teams are underway. We got a spring game. Most teams wrap up their spring within the next month. So we'll have a lot of content coming at you there. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss any of the content we're putting out. But again, I'm your host, Dave Shumate from Mach 10 Sports. I hope you have a fantastic day.